Hi guys, it's Sheila Shimmers. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're reviewing a new brand, and this one is actually called Makeup Obsession. It's actually not a new brand. It's really new to the US. It is only sold at Target. It's exclusive to Target. So I picked up 3 of their face palettes right here. I have the Blush Day Highlight and the Bronzer palette. And I also picked up one of their eyeshadow palettes. They have different ones, but I thought that this one was just more up my alley. So that's what I did. I'm going to be letting you guys know all the details on these 4 palettes right here and how they perform. And hopefully by the end of this video, we'll have a better idea of what this brand can bring to the table. I hope you're excited. I am as well. So before we get started, please don't forget to subscribe below, like this video, and let's just go ahead and get started. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to start with my eyes. So I'll be showing you the eyeshadow palette that I picked. This one is called All We Have Is Now, and it's really pretty. It's actually this really bright pink kind of packaging. All of them are cardboard, it feels like, but they feel kind of nice. They all have a little magnetic opening, and they look like this. This one is a perfect square, as you can see. And I'm going to just open it up for you guys. It has this little mirror right here, also a square mirror. And then here you have all your shades. So I always seem to just pick the same palette. So this one, I just thought I wanted to do something different. Pick something a little bit more on the neutral and brown tones and like earthy tones. So that's what I thought I was doing here. I still have some of my blues, but I just want to stay more on the neutral side because I feel like I've been going a little bit crazy with the colors lately. So yeah, this is it. Like I said, it brings 16 shades, and there's a combination of obviously mattes and shimmers. This one retails for $15, and I think it's a really good price point. I kind of see that you have your shimmers over here, but you also have some of them that are more like a soft shimmer. I feel like this one just had some little sparkles in it, but I also see some very pretty mattes as well. So it looks pretty nice. I'm super excited. They also have the names on them, as you can see. The first thing I'm going to be doing is priming my eyes. I'm going to be using the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer, and this one is in the shade Medium Sand. It's pretty light for me, but I feel like it's going to be nice for a nice canvas on my eyes. So that is what I'll be using. Alright, that looks nice. So I'm going to be jumping right into this palette. I'm going to be going into the shade Diffuse right here. I'm going to be setting just, you know, that base that I just applied, and I feel like this one is going to be a little bit darker than my skin tone, but I feel like it'll just work really well. And I'm going to start, yeah, that definitely has some shade to it, so I'm going to start by just putting it on my crease instead of putting it all over. And I feel like it looked a lot lighter than that, so I'm sorry for that. It ended up just being my transition shade, I guess, so I'm just going to be putting this kind of all over. It's actually blending out really nicely. I think I'm going to be going with the shade Reverie right here, or Reverie. And I'm kind of, oh, they are powdery, so just be careful with kickback. And I'm kind of going to be applying this on the crease. This one's a little dark, but it's actually a really nice brown. I feel like that is blending really nicely. It's very powdery, but it looks really nice. Wow, that was really easy to blend, actually. Kind of impressed. It's like a darker brick color, but I'm not mad at it. I feel like that looks nice. Wow. I'm sorry, I just wasn't expecting this to look this nice so quick. I didn't even have to blend it a lot. Next shade I'm going to be taking is called Improvise right here. And I'm taking this with my Alamar Cosmetics brush, and I feel like this one's going to be much darker, so I'm just going to be packing this on the outer corner. I feel like this one, I expected to just pack a little bit better. So I guess we're just going to move on. I'm going to be going into Thinker right here. And this is definitely a darker brown. So I'm just going to be putting this also in the outer corner. I feel like it's not the most intense brown that I have ever used, but it's also like not bad. It's definitely blended out really well, but I'm just missing a little bit of, you know, kick to it, or a little bit of pigment to it. Maybe just wiping this off for a second. But I feel like that's blending really, really nicely. So maybe I'm not completely mad about it, just a little bit. Alright, I'm going to keep packing that on. I feel like it's definitely buildable because you can see right there how the color is definitely showing up a little more. So that's really good. Alright, so I'm going back into the shade Improvise right here. And I'm going to mix it a little bit with Reverie, or Reverie, I don't know how to say that right. And I'm just going to put this kind of over here in the outer corner. So I'm just going to do a semi-cut crease and moving on to my inner corner. And I'm just going to start right here, following kind of like the folds on my eyes and going a little bit higher. I'm going in with this Morphe M421 brush. I feel like this one's just really easy for cut creases. So I'm just packing that right there. Notice I'm not really dragging this because I'm using the P. base and it just works better when you just pack it. I feel like we're good right there, so I'm going to be jumping into the shimmers in this palette. And I think, I don't know, I think this gold right here looks really, really nice. I'm going to be swatching them just because I want to see how they look. So those are all my shimmers. So I feel like this one's really nice, but it's also very close to what I'm doing. This one is definitely more on the golden side. This one's too dark. And the blues kind of don't match. So I feel like it's time for me to do something a little bit more on the neutral side because I haven't been doing that. But I also feel like it's so boring because it just looks boring on me for some reason. I think I'm going to start with Spell. Maybe we'll mix Spell and Star. What do you guys think? I feel like that'll be a nice combination. I wish I could be using Zen, but I just don't think that I want to go that route today. I am like forcing myself to do something neutral here. I'm going with Spell, and I'm going to be applying this in the inner corner. I feel like I'm not getting much shimmer out of this one. It's just a very, like, I don't know. This one's not doing anything for me. So I'm going to move on to Star right here. This one feels a lot creamier even when I'm just applying it with the brush. And I'm going to go right next to that one. Kind of blend them together a little bit. I feel like this one's really pretty. And I'm just covering up the concealer that I applied. I'm just, trying to pack that on really well. So I'm going to go back into Thinker. And I'm just going to be blending that out right there in the outer corner. Wow, I feel like now it's really, really applying. I'm going to go with a smaller brush. This one is the Spectrum 806. Going into Thinker again. And trying to blend this out. That brown took me a little bit to, build it up, but it actually looks pretty nice now. So I feel like it was worth it. I also feel like this look is just a little bit too boring for me, but I am trying. I feel like next time I just want to use the blues in this color because I feel like I could have done something really pretty with this one and definitely with this one over here. Ooh, that color is just stunning. I wonder if I can put it over that little white that I applied or a little pearl that I applied because I don't like it at all. So maybe I'll try it. Let me go into Zen right here. And I'm going to try to apply it in the beginning of the eye. And see if that looks bad. I don't hate that. I actually don't hate that. I feel like I really, really love that blue. I wish I would have done that like over the lid. That would have looked really pretty. But I'm actually not mad at this look. Alright, since this is so neutral, I feel like I have to bring in an eyeliner. So I'm just going to be using my Sephora 12 Hour Long Lasting Eyeliner. I'm just going to be doing a little wing. Alright, so now I'm going to be doing this eye, putting on some foundation, and then we'll dig into these 3 palettes right here. Alright, so face makeup is on. I accidentally went in a little bit too much with powder, and I have dry skin, so I'm having this situation right here, but hopefully it'll get a little better once I put like MAC Fix Plus. But I'm going to jump into this palette really quickly just to finish off my eyes, and I think I'm actually really liking this look now. I'm kind of surprised because I usually don't go for looks like this, but I'm going to go with just a flat brush, and I think I'm going to be jumping into, let me just make it a little bit more smoky. So I think I'm going to be jumping into Thinker right here, and this is just the darkest shade. I wish this palette had just a much darker brown than this one, but I also think that it's a really good palette. I feel like the mattes are actually pretty impressive because they do blend out pretty easily. And I feel like the shade selection is actually really nice in this palette. They did have some other ones that kind of were a little bit more pinkish and more purpley, and those are kind of more up my alley, but like I said, I'm trying to go back into just using a little bit more neutrals because I know that's what a lot of people like, and not everyone is just ready to use colors every day. So, I don't know. I wanted to just get something a little bit different. I think I'm just going to be putting one more shade because that actually looks pretty nice, but I just feel like I can do a little bit more. And I'm going to be using the shade Reverie. I don't know how to say that. I've been butchering, but Reverie, I think. And I'm just going to be blending this underneath. I'm just bringing it down a little bit. Such a nice shade, I feel like. Jump into the face palettes. So the first one we have right here is Give Me Some Sun, and this one is their bronzer palette. It brings 4 bronzers, and I feel like some of them are going to be a little bit dark, but I feel like this one is really calling my name. So we have 2 matte ones right here. This one is kind of a luminous one, and then this one is a shimmer. So I'm going to swatch them for you guys. They do have the names and come with this little pretty packaging. On the back, they just have numbers. They don't really have names, but in the front, they do have their names right there. So this one is Delta, Buff, Expose, and Raise. Bottom to top and left to right. So I guess this is Delta right here, and this is this beautiful like copper shade right there. Then we have Buff, which is a nice like cool tone bronzer, and then we have Exposed over here. This one is kind of a more luminous bronzer, and I really like that. And then we have our warm shade right here, which is called Raise over here. And I feel like this one is like a terracotta shade. It may be a little bit too dark. I actually did want to mention that this is the only bronzer palette that they have in their collection, at least the one that I saw at Target. So I don't think this is going to be very deep for deeper skin tones, and I think it's going to be too dark for lighter skin tones. So I think it's just more, you know, towards people with medium skin tones like me, which is kind of a downer because I know a lot of people are going to be dying to try this, and they're not going to be able to. The price of this one was $10.99, which I think is pretty fair for a palette of bronzers that brings also 4 bronzers. So it's kind of nice. I'll start with this one right here, which is their matte. I'm going to be warming my face up with it. So I'm taking Raise. It looks pigmented. Okay, I'm dusting this off as much as I can. And you can see right there. And I'm trying to put this on. I feel like that looks pretty nice. That is a really nice shade. It's definitely more on the terracotta and orangey side, but it looks really nice. I think this is a little bit darker than where I'm comfortable because holy pigment. Okay, be careful when you're using this. Okay, let me just blend this out. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit darker than what I'm used to because it's very, very like orangey. So I feel like if I am more tan, this actually would look really nice on me. Throw me off a little bit. It still looks pretty nice. I feel like once I have everything on, I'm going to really love it because I feel like it's giving my cheeks a lot of definition. Like I can see it on the viewfinder, how it kind of looks sculpted already, and I haven't even put more shades on my face. I should have gone with the cool tone one first because I just didn't expect this one to be that pigmented. Usually the ones that are like, you know, this kind of brown are more for like warming up the face. Alright, I feel like now we can go into the next shade, and this one is Buff right here. I hope it's not too dark, but Since I'm so scared, I'm just going to be taking a little bit. I'm just going to put this right there so I can darken up those cheekbones. This was definitely pigmented. You can tell that it made a difference. I feel like this one just looks a little bit muddy on my face, at least. I don't think I love this one. I feel like I like the first one a little bit better. Not to say it's not doing what it's supposed to, but I don't know. This one is definitely not my favorite of the bunch. I love this one though. I feel like this one was a little too warm, but I think it's looking pretty good. So I'm kind of liking it. Alright. Next one we have is Expose and Delta. So I feel like Delta is going to be a little too dark for me. I'm not going to be able to use this one. But I'm going to try to use a little bit of this Radiant one, which is Expose. I feel like it just gave my skin a little bit more, you know, glowiness to it. And I'm definitely looking very sculpted and just dark, but gotta say, this actually looks nice. Very pigmented, so I'm definitely going to be going a little bit more light next time. Next we have Isn't It Peachy, and I love this palette. I love the fact that they made it orangey. It just calls my attention. Everything that looks like JLo, you know, whew. It has 4 shades of blushes right there. This one seems to be a little bit shimmery, I feel like. Shimmery blushes are not my favorite, but you can tell right there. Yeah, it's definitely shimmery. Then we have Daydream right here, which is more of a peachy one, and that is it right there. Really nice, also matte. Then we have Hint right here, and this one is a nice orangey shade. I love orangey shades, and I feel like it fits exactly what I'm wearing today, so maybe I'll go for that. And then the last one we have is Bloom, and it's a orangey one, but it's a little bit more on the bright side. So I think this one is the one I'll be using because it looks stunning. That palette is also $10. They're all $9.99, I believe. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to be going for Hint. Ooh, okay. Oh yeah, pigmented. I did barely touch it, but that is really nice. I feel like since everything else is really heavy on my face, I just have to go heavy with it. Wow, that looks pretty. That's the only shade I'll be using, but the other ones look really stunning. I feel like they feel really nice. They feel really creamy. They're definitely very pigmented, as you saw. The last palette I'll be using is a dedicated one. This one is all highlights. And you can tell right there, they have different finishes. This one is kind of a dual one. It has some kind of colors in there, but I feel like it has some shimmer. This one is called Loyal. And it's a really pretty, like, corally. Then we have Faithful right here, which is obviously a gold one. Right there. Really nice. This one feels much more creamier. This one felt a little rough on my skin. So this one is called Homage. And then we have Persevere, which is much darker. So this could probably be, like, nicer for somebody deeper. So I feel like there's a nice range right here. I feel like today I'm going to probably be using this one just because it kind of matches the whole, you know, orangey thing I have going on. Taking a lot of it. You can tell right there. They are very powdery. And I'm just going to go in. Ooh. Ooh, pretty. Yes, really pretty. Really pretty. Wow. This is something that I'll probably be buying more stuff from because this all looks really nice. Really nice. I think I'm going to be mixing this with Homage right here. Just bringing it up a notch. Every time I use this brush, it just leaves so many little fluffies on my face. It's insane. Okay, this highlight is nice. That looks really nice. I'm going to be putting some lipstick and some lashes on, and then I'll be back to give you guys my final thoughts. Makeup is all done, and I have to say I'm really loving this look. I feel like this is something so out of my comfort zone, and it's crazy because this is such a wearable look, but this is actually not something that I would go for whatsoever, and I really, really like it. I have to say, I'm going to start talking about the face palettes first. I think these are great. I think the price point of all the items that I used today are great. I love the fact that they're readily available at Target, so you can just pop in, look at everything they have. I believe they are in store, so you want to check out just your local Target and see if you can find these. I love the fact that each palette brings so many options for different skin tones and just different finishes. That was a really nice touch, and I feel like my favorite one, if I had to pick one of the three, I'd probably be the blush one, because the blushes were actually pretty nice and they felt just good on the hands, they feel good to the touch. They actually had a lot of pigmentation and they look pretty nice. I mean, you can tell on my face that that orange one, this one that I used, was really, really nice. I feel like I would like these three, but I would probably not use this one just because I don't tend to use just radiant blushes. I don't really like that. And now that I'm seeing, it has kind of this little insert right here that it looks like you can just pick these up. I wonder if they're magnetic, and it looks like they are, so you can just take these out. Oops. If you have a couple of them, you can just take it out like this, and you can actually like pop in your bronzers right here and have a little to-go palette with the things that you want to use. So you can just make your little own palette with the blushes you want, a little highlighter, and a bronzer. That is actually a great idea. I'm so glad that I just saw that, because that is such a big plus. You can just kind of take out the ones you want. I kind of really like that. I feel like for the bronzer palette, it was actually a little darker than I expected it to be. I didn't expect it to be this dark because my face looks a lot darker than my body, but I don't really mind it. I feel like if I had a tan, it would actually look pretty nice. I wouldn't have gone for this shade again. I feel like I would just concentrate in these two, because this one's really warm and nice, and it kind of like was very pigmented and just warmed up my face really nicely. It kind of reminded me of the Fenty bronzer, kind of like the shade, because it was more on the orangey side, and this one just was a nice radiant bronzer. This one was very cool tone, but really, really dark, so it just kind of looked muddy on my face. I don't really love this one, not my favorite, and then this one was just going to be a little too dark for me, but just for the heck of it, I'll probably just try it on one day and see how it wears. But I love the fact that I can just pop this one on. I'll probably just be doing my little own palette after this video is over and just have this to go. The next one is this highlight palette called Dedicated. I really like this highlights. I feel like they're actually pretty impressive. I packed these two in the middle, Loyal and Homage, and I really, really like it. I feel like they were very creamy, definitely very, shiny. There's not much powdery stuff on my face, so you can tell that they are very creamy when you blend it. You just blend that really nicely. I don't know, everything I applied today looks really, really nice. I feel like this one was probably too dark for me, but I can definitely make it work with this three right here. And yeah, super, super affordable. Definitely something to check out. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is the eyeshadow palette. I feel like the shades on this one are really nice. These are also magnetic. You can tell right there. So I feel like these are kind of the same size as the ColourPop. So if you have any ColourPop, you can probably pop them in right here. It actually looks like a little ColourPop palette, doesn't it? But I feel like the shade range is really nice. I feel like I have a lot more neutrals than I would want to, because you have just three matte right here that kind of look the same. But I feel like overall it's just a really nice palette. I did this little look that I have. The mattes feel really nice. It was really pigmented, super easy to blend. And I feel like these two shimmers were probably my favorite, the two that I used today. This one was a little bit dull, but I didn't try the other ones. So yeah, my only complaint is that I wish this brown was a little darker, because it looks dark on the pan, but when you put it on your face, it actually doesn't go as dark as you want it to. But I don't know, overall I feel like this was worth it to me. I would definitely purchase more from this brand if I had the chance. I feel like having this at Target is just a nice option, because Target is such a staple place for everyone to go and just browse around. I love going to Target. I spent hours going to Target. Like everything that I used today, I thought it was all worth it, and I would definitely repurchase. So let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this look, if you like it, what you think of this palette, if you have picked up any of them. And as always, don't forget to subscribe below, like this video, and I will see you on my next one. Bye!